team simply because no pain, no gain has made everybody cry. No pain, no gain has beaten almost every other team. Therefore, it had lots and lots of opposite fans. You can see clearly that's Juma, shot 8. Juma is playing for BSU, and now he's featuring for No Pain No Gain together with the likes of Mbine. Mbine, who happened to be at Mbara City junior team, is also involved in that game. We saw Muganzi Apudi, Muganzi Godfrey, commonly known as Apudi, who featured for Mbara Sports Academy during the Junior League in jail playoffs, representing Mbara Sports Academy. Those are the players that we are having, the next generation players that we are having in Mbara. We saw that goal, the No Pain No Gain goal scored by Mbina, and Mbina was man of the match. Away from that, also pictures of Kacheka team before could tell that there were few, as they even counted Sasha, one of the lady players, as a main player, because players, that is the female side, are supposed to be counted as add-ons, or like the supportive team is supposed to have just one female player. So we saw those pictures of the Kacheka team, and they were counting on Sasha as their main player because they were not equal to the No Pain No Gain players before kickoff. Away from that, we have seen also another fixture coming up tonight. Guest Band is going to be taking on X-International at around 10 p.m. to 11. Moving on from that, we have the Chenga series going on at Mbara High School, where we have the National Academy competitions. All the academies in Uganda are taking part in the Chenga series taking place at Mbara High School grounds. They actually commenced the other day, and they will be ending by Friday. So far, so good for the Western teams. And Mbara Sports Academy has just fielded the youngest team ever. And remember, they were dubbed the favorites of this challenge series, but they could not go on to field their trusted players, as they were seen to be all during screening. Therefore, Coach Salim had no option but to use the youngest of all the squads. He actually had the youngest boys on the field. That's the reason as to why he lost most of the games. We saw all the games taking part between the girls' sides and the boys' sides. El Cambio, one of the other favorites, El Cambio Super Academy from Masaka, one of the academies proudly sponsored by the Spanish teams. Actually, we saw their equipment labeled Spanish La Liga. Some of their equipment was actually labeled Spanish La Liga. That was one of the games from El Cambio. They were playing better, but unfortunately, they have just won one game. Today, they are playing Misinji in the afternoon after losing to Lions Soccer Academy in Tungamo. 2-1 goals coming in there from Galen and Kazuni in the 5th minute and the 65th minute respectively. Alonso is doing better because we have seen Lions Soccer Academy boys playing very, very well, as they had to beat Mbara Sports Academy 5-1 in a friendly game that later transpired in the evening. That was the day at Mbara High School when it comes to the Chenga Challenge. Chenga Challenge is organized by the Uganda Youth Football Association, headed by Mr. Udega, who will be here later in the afternoon. Away from that, the under-13 girls also are doing better, as El Cambio beat one of the strongest academies. That was part of the game, actually. The pictures coming in there from pitch B, as we saw the girls doing better in the under-13 category. We move away from that. The Cranes, Uganda Cranes national team, touched down in Cairo in a place called Lavandra. That is where they're training, and they're taking on their evening sessions as well as morning sessions, preparing for the game that they are going to be having tomorrow against Kuwait. That will be the international friendly. Those are the pictures that came in from Cairo International Airport as Cranes touched down in Egypt. Remember, they are preparing to take on Kuwait in the international friendly games over. We can tell that Uganda Cranes did not qualify for the AFCON 2023 after losing those games against Namibia. Namibia is doing well. The team that challenged us, you remember, they are doing well in the AFCON, as they have actually won their games for the first round. We also saw the likes of Milton Kalisa the Vipers skipper, who was actually released off the national team simply because he was thought to have that knee injury, and his form was deteriorating by the time they reached for departure. Away from that, we have seen in the transfers here domestically, we have seen the likes of Waiswa Moses, who has moved from KCC, joining SC Vipers in Chitende, and he becomes the second player to join the rival team Vipers, crossing from KCC after Alan Okello had crossed before in the other summer, and we have seen them rejoin together at St. Mary's Stadium, Chitende. However, this is going to affect KCC because you cannot sell, okay, you cannot make transfers for two players who have been playing for you to the rival team. But I guess this is the reason as to why Moses Waiswa has been kind of misbehaving at KCC so that he could be released. He was actually leading others in terms of bringing up chaos, demanding for higher sign-on fees, demanding for higher allowances. That is the reason as to why I think he had to choose that side. We have seen so far on records that these are the only players that have joined hands to join one of the most talked about team, that is Vipers SC in Entebbe. Away from that, we have also seen the likes of coach Sadiq Sempiji being convinced, I think I can use that word, being convinced to rejoin Arua Hill after their woes. Arua Hill is one of the struggling teams in the Uganda Southern FUFA Premier League. As we see by now, they have no coach. Now they are talking to Coach Sadiq Sempiji. There have been direct talks over the phone, and negotiations are still ongoing, but kind of 75% done. Coach Sadiq Sempiji is fresh from the CAF B series of coaching course, which has actually been taking place in Njero. He had classes together, shared classes with the likes of Tony Maweje, and shared classes with Simeon Masawa, if you remember those players, and Coach Skills Michael. They were all there in Njelu. Freshly graduated, Coach Sadiq Sempiji is expected to take on this job as he left Ginger North United area before the course resumed. We have also seen the likes of police player Mr. Regan Mali also being talked to, being into negotiations with SC Vipers to join the likes of Moses Waiswa and Alan Okello. Regan is one of the best players so far for Police, as Police is still leading the big league table, and now he actually looks to be one of the impressive players on the pitch, as Vipers is interested into him. That's the picture of Regan, who is actually talked to by Vipers. Away from that, we had some of the action in the rugby. We had the Rugby Uganda Cup for women, as the Uganda women were finishing fourth in the HBSC rugby series that were taking place in Dubai, that is United Arab Emirates. When they came back, some of them have to play for their teams. So we saw Nile Rapids taking on Avengers for the final slots, that is for the women's side. And in the finals, we shall also see Platinum Crusaders taking on Lifeguard Rams in the men's final. That will be at Kings Park at 4 p.m. The coming weekend. That is some story coming in there from rugby. On the sad note, last evening, before midnight, we had news. The news of withdrawal from the league by Ndejje University. One of the pioneer founders of the big league have now withdrawn from the league. They have actually been struggling with 10 points before the end of the first half of the big league season here in Uganda. And now Ndejje, after the loss of one of their IT specialists, that is Komakech, who was the coach of Ndejje University football team, after his demise, now the woes began for Ndejje. They have not won enough games to take them through to the first half of the table, or to the first top table teams. However, Ndejje is citing financial strains to be one of the reasons that is leading them to withdraw from the league. Ndejje University, it's very sad for Ndejje, one of the teams that has actually been here for so long. Since 2009, Ndejje has actually been relegated once, and they have been promoted to the Uganda FIFA Premier League thrice, being relegated thrice. So that's the record that they leave behind. You can remember in 2019 when they were promoted in 2018, but in 2019 they were directly relegated. That is a story coming in from Ndeje University Council. That was the statement that we received, saying that financial strains are the ones that are pulling them down. Away from that, we also have seen the likes of Coach Paul Chiwanuka, who is actually rejoining UPDF. UPDF is also struggling since the departure of Mr. Senyondo Brad, that is Coach Paul Chiwanuka. He was formerly at Vipers, and now you can see he's joining UPDF to help them survive relegation for this season, as they are struggling in the last three teams who are on the bottom of the Premier League log. Away from that, Juliet Nalukenge, a Ugandan who plays for Apollon in Cyprus, helped her team to beat Zurich, the women's side, in the UEFA Women Champions League. It's one of our first Ugandan assists in the UEFA Women Champions League last evening, as they were playing Zurich in the UEFA Women Champions League. Away from that, we have seen records coming in from that's the picture of Juliet Naukenge trying to create that assist that helped her team win 1-0 against Zurich. We saw also a record for El Naisri, Mohamed El Naisri of Morocco, becoming the first player in Africa to score in 4 different AFCON finals. El Naisri plays for Morocco as well as Sevilla in Europe. That is, you remember what Sevilla did to Manchester United some time back. That guy was one of the trouble causers. Away from that, we have had results of the first round. That is the games, the first game in each group of the AFCON. So we have a list of those results as well as highlights of the games that took place last evening. Those are some of the results. We saw Algeria drawing 1-1 with Angola, Burkina Faso beating Mauritania in the 95th minute 1-0 against Mauritania, and Tunisia also losing 1-0 against Namibia. We also saw Mali beating the Bafana 2-0. Morocco beat Tanzania last evening, that was 3-0, and DR Congo also drawing 1-1 with Zambia last evening. Some other results coming in there for the AFCON first round. We also saw the likes of Cote d'Ivoire beating Guinea-Bissau 2-0, and we also saw Nigeria drawing 1-1 with Equatorial Guinea. However, Egypt also drew 2-2 with Mozambique, and Ghana beaten by Cote d'Ivoire, that is Cape Verde, that is 2-1. Senegal also beating the Gambia 3-0, and Cameroon sharing spoils with Guinea. That is the result, the overall result of the first game in all the groups of the AFCON. We have also seen the highlights of that game that took place last evening. That is Algeria taking on Tanzania. You should have seen how Mwani Samata struggled to help his Tanzanian side. Remember, the Tanzanian neighbors were very, very happy, saying that they qualified more times than Uganda, but things did not go on well for them last evening as they were beaten to pulp. We have those highlights coming in there, the AFCON highlights. Our producer will play those pictures. Away from that, we have some other results coming in there from other leagues, or coming in there from some other games. Last evening in the Dutch Eredivisie League, PSV actually beat FC 20 3-1, a game that was one of the late night kickoffs. And in the FA Cup third round, Blackpool beaten by Nottingham Forest 3-2. Bristol Rovers also losing there 3-1 against Norwich. And we saw in the Spanish Copa del Rey, Tenerife losing to Real Mallorca 1-0, and Valencia being beaten by Celta Vigo. This is one of the interesting games, and don't be shocked by the results. Real Mallorca, after winning against Tenerife, they were actually looking forward to be drawn to their rivals, that is Celta de Vigo, who beat Valencia 3-1, and Osasuna, they are being beaten by Real Sociedad 2-0. Girona being beaten Girona beaten 3-1. Away from that, some other results coming in there from the Asian Cup. Lebanon drew 0-0 with China, and Tajikistan also being beaten by Qatar with a goal to 0. We have some other games today in different leagues, not even in AFCON only, but In the Spanish Copa del Rey tonight, Barcelona is taking on Union Saint Del Sanaca. That is one of the preliminary rounds. Remember, Barcelona lost the final against Real Madrid. That was 4-1. But tonight they will be taking on Union de Sanaca. We shall see that game. Napoli is taking on Fiorentina in the Italian Serie A, and Atletico de Madrid is taking on Real Madrid. Remember, that will be a game from the other side of Spanish La Liga, as they missed the other game when they were playing in Copa del Rey finals. Famalicão in Portugal will be taking on SC Braga. Valencia will be taking on Sporting Lisboa, as well as Napoli taking on Fiorentina in the Coppa Italian Serie A. Away from that, Edgar, we can really talk about Manchester United. They are now looking for the replacements of Onana, as they are failing to field Ait Bandel, the Turkish goalkeeper they signed during the summer. And we have had a statement coming in from Jim Ratcliffe, who said that he will not do much of the business in this January transfer, Edgar. So we expect Manchester United to stay as they are before they offload. They really need to offload about 6 players before they can sign some others. Remember, they have let Hannibal Midjebre leave. He is a midfielder who has joined the Spanish side, and we expect more of the departures as well as more of the loans, Edgar. In the Asian Cup today, we shall see Syria taking on Australia, and India will be taking on Uzbekistan. While in AFCON, we shall see a game tonight. Equatorial Guinea taking on Guinea-Bissau. That will be their second game. And Ivory Coast in their second game will be taking on the Nigerians. Remember, the Nigerians are all looking up to Victor Osimhen, who is their lead scorer. Remember, he lost very many chances in their first game, and he was the top scorer in the Italian Serie A, helping Napoli to win their first Italian Scudetto in the last 30 years at Stadio Armando Maradona Stadium in Italy.
Happy birthday if you're celebrating your birthday today. And of course, among the people you're celebrating with is Pep Guardiola. Manchester City, yes, he's actually celebrating his birthday, so happy birthday. And some of those pictures are there. Pep Guardiola needs no more introduction. The guy that has actually shaped the league, the English league, I think. Yeah, he has actually done tremendously well.
His birthday gift came in after he won the FIFA Best Coach of the Year in the last 30 days, Edgar. This is a man who was born on 18th, I think, Feb 1971. Was it Feb?
That guy was January, of course, yeah. January. That guy was part of the team, the 1992 team that won the Olympics.
And 1994 Spanish World Cup.
So he's bad news.
He has
anyway.
a clean record, actually. He played 2 games for Spain in that 1994 World Cup. Played 2 games, scored 1, but had no yellow card, no red card for such player.
Thank you very much, Jasper. He's going to be coming in later on at 3 p.m. Of course, give you the latest sports updates in detail, of course, in his sports zone. But apparently, we are continuing the morning blast. This is GNTV. We are releasing live. I'm EDGAR AKAMPA. Good morning.